evil.
Reckon the number of the beast.
The Number of the Beast also serves as the title for this album by Iron Maiden. Aphrodite's Child, featuring the popular composer Vangelis, is even more to the point with this album's name. Along with the song we just heard by Anvil, RF7 and Coven also have songs with 666 in the title. The Number of the Beast appears on album covers by Black Sabbath and the Plasmatics, the stage set of Motley Crue, and is etched into the vinyl of the best-selling album Licensed to Ill by the Beastie Boys. Most rock fans will recognize this hieroglyphic, commonly pronounced Sozo, as the unofficial name for Led Zeppelin's untitled fourth album, and the personal symbol for Zeppelin's founder, Jimmy Page. What most people don't know is that by Page's own admission, Sozo is a stylized 666. Not since Nero's Rome has the mark of the beast found such widespread expression. In addition to symbols, occult ritual and philosophy also abound in contemporary rock music. Beginning with the most well-known, many groups within the heavy metal genre have popularized blatant, no-holds-barred Satanism and witchcraft in their music, album covers, and stage shows. Take, for example, the song Beyond the Gates by the group Possessed. There are thousands of songs just like this being performed by hundreds of heavy metal bands around the world. Most are seldom heard outside of small cult followings. A few have made it into the big time. Whether directly or indirectly, however, this type of music and the spiritual forces that attend it have made their mark on contemporary culture. What was once unthinkable is now not only sung about and considered, it is at times even embraced and acted upon.
In the same way, every demon in the Bible, every alternative name for Satan, and many of the evil people found in either the scriptures or in the Judeo-Christian tradition make an appearance in one form or another. For example, when Sarah McLachlan went looking for a name for the popular tour that showcased female performers, she settled on Lilith Fair. And who was Lilith? Well, the mythological first wife of Adam, who was thrown out of the garden for her unwillingness to submit to either God or her husband.
She was Adam's first wife before Eve and wanted to be treated equally, yet he refused her that. And so she took off, said, fine, I don't need this. She's such a strong and wonderful feminist figure, yet we've never been taught that, so I feel really proud to put her back on her rightful goddess position.
The Lilith Fair was far more subversive and satanic than anything that I could have done, because here you have people playing this very innocuous folk music that's providing America with a lot of very dangerous ideas about women's sexuality.
Manson nailed it. Lilith may look cute and have a sweet voice, but her rebellion against God's authority begins and ends in hell. To excuse all this as meaningless metaphor or Halloweenish, just kidding hijinks is refusing to see the forest for all of the trees. We could spend hours documenting other examples of this sign language, but let's finish with one that is particularly interesting because it's more subtle, operating on a more subliminal level. If one were to survey the pantheon of world religions and attempt to identify the, quote, deities that best personify salvation through chaos, death, and madness, two at the top of the list would be the Prince of Darkness, under one of his many names, and the Hindu goddess Kali. Interestingly, they share many things in common, but one of the more curious as regards our analysis is the whole tongue thing. Kali is normally depicted, along with a necklace of human skulls, with her tongue sticking out. And anecdotal information provided by people who have consorted with the devil in some form or fashion paints a very similar picture. Keeping in mind the bigger picture we've just looked at, ask yourself, could there be any spiritual application here to the world of rock and roll? The Stones freely acknowledge that their famous logo was based in part on Kali.
Goddess Kali, and Goddess Kali has this disembodied tongue that sticks out. So.
And protruding tongues are second only to the extended middle finger as the universal symbol of rock and roll rebellion. Shrug it off if you can, but God isn't laughing. You sons of the sorceress, whom do you ridicule? Against whom do you make a wide mouth and stick out the tongue? Are you not children of transgression? Offspring of falsehood, inflaming yourselves with gods under every green tree. Let your collection of idols deliver you, but the wind will carry them all away. A breath will take them. Of course, we're not suggesting that every time a tongue is stuck out, it represents this level of demonic rebellion, any more than this hand gesture always represents Satan. But clearly, in certain contexts, it can have a deeper, darker, and more spiritual significance. And given the rock and roll industry's occult foundations and its blind embrace of chaos and rebellion, one would have to be either incredibly naive or willfully blind not to admit that something very strange is going on here. Like it or not, where buzzards flock, there's dead meat, and you can be sure that where the icons, signs, and symbols of evil gather, that real evil is not too far away.
Heavy metal does not have a monopoly on blasphemy, however.
Father Lucifer, you never look so sane. You always did prefer the drizzle to the rain. Tell me that you're still in love with that milkmaid. How the Lizzies, how's your Jesus Christ been hanging?
Sounding for all the world like Crowley and LaVey, Tori Amos told Spin magazine about her love for Lucifer, a Latin name for Satan. I wanted to marry Lucifer. Lucifer was the brother holding the space for mankind to act out their fears and hidden secrets, things they won't acknowledge. That's what the shadow is, and once you don't deny your shadow anymore, then it's not a perversion of that energy source. I don't consider Lucifer an evil force. We can all tap into that free-running current of distorted energy. She went on to talk about him on a more personal note. I feel such a sadness from him, she said. I cry and feel his presence with his music. I feel like he comes and sits on my piano. Yet this is a pretty serious being. I'm a little squirt when you think what a very serious force this is. Avant-garde artist Diamanda Gallas has admitted to tapping into this same energy. Before performances, I used to say prayers to the devil. It was like making a connection to some source of power so that I could do what was not socially accepted. It was like, you know me, you understand me, I can speak for this reality, you can help me do this. Among her many blasphemous recordings, writings, and performances is her interpretation of Baudelaire's The Litanies of Satan, which includes the final prayer in French, To thee, O Satan, glory be and praise. Grant that my soul one day beneath the tree of knowledge may rest near thee.
The 80s have seen the emergence of a macabre brand of rock that combines elements of punk, new wave, and even classical music, including artists like The Cure, Bauhaus, Christian Death, Sisters of Mercy, Diamanda Gallis, Nick Cave, the Lords of the New Church, and the Smiths. The occult elements within this new genre are even more disturbing than those in heavy metal, because they are combined with an intelligence and poetic passion rarely found in the latter. For example, when Peter Murphy of Bauhaus, in an admitted takeoff of a Satanic Mass, chants both forward and backwards the Latin for Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, there's a certain feel, a sinister urgency you can cut with a knife.